things that I did as a pastor is like the people who used to be on my staff that are still in my life. There's not a lot, but there's a few that hang on that are still in my life. People used to be on my staff when I was their pastor. Like, I've talked to them and told them, like, you know what? I apologize for thinking I had a right to exercise so much control over your life. And like, it wasn't even like physical control, but it was, but in a sense, it still was physical control, because like, if I found out you were sinning, you know, I could be like, hey, you can't do this Sunday because you sin. Like, number one, your sins ain't none of my goddamn business, bruh. Like, for real. Unless you out there harming somebody, and even then, it ain't my obligation to do something about it. I got to call the right authorities to let them handle that. You know, I mess up the whole system. But no, I called them and I let them know, like, that was me crossing the line. Now, my religion gave me permission to do it, but that don't make it right. Like, I held so much authority in other people's lives that it wasn't just unhealthy for them, it was unhealthy for me too. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, that was too much pressure for me. Thinking, because, you know, that's the trick in Christianity, that if I don't guide you and I don't tell you what to do, then your blood is on my hands. And I'm like, but ain't no blood, bruh. You just fucking somebody.
Blood cult.
That's not blood. And I damn sure don't want that on my hands. Hello. Man. Bullied by them, they go out of their way just to rub them. Yeah, man. Good people don't need a good book to be good people. They don't. You know? I've been saying you know a lot. All right, so let me wrap this up. I've been here an hour and 38 minutes, and Wednesdays are the days that I write, so I do got to get back to writing. But I've been enjoying this conversation so much, so I'm going to
Me too, bro.
Make sure I do finish it out.
Yeah.
It's a check for me of, am I actually understanding and engaging the world that I live in clearly? Am I engaging it from the place of reality? That's, again, evidence over anecdotes. This is how I think now. You know, is my approach to life based in evidence? Is my
Big D said he was watching a documentary about mermaid people that had him hook, line, and sinker till he saw the end credits at the very end, and he saw it was fiction. And he said that's when he realized he had a problem to believe in bullshit. And a year later, he was atheist. Just catching you up on some of it right here. Y'all check out Big D, dude. Durante's awesome.
Response to life based in evidence, which means, I don't know if you noticed about your boy, but I am not a bandwagoner. It's really hard to get me on a bandwagon, because bandwagons offer a lot of things. They rarely offer evidence. It's often emotional hype, you know. And I'm just like, I got things I'd rather be emotionally hyped about. So my question to myself becomes like, do I make decisions from patterns and proofs, or from isolated stories, impulses, and feelings that feel true? You know, and it's not that I ignore my feelings. That's not the point. But I can't pretend that feelings are facts. They're not the same thing. Billy Joel, I like that. I guess it's not the same thing. I can feel very strongly about a thing and still be absolutely wrong, because feelings are not facts. You know, I'm constantly trying to do a perspective calibration, which is how I interpret the world. Asking myself, am I skewing this negative or positive? Am I clearly looking at the world as it is and not as I think it should be? This is what keeps me out of fandom. It keeps me out of fanaticism. It keeps me from being radicalized. Because these are checks that I've put in my life, you know. Again, I think I gave this illustration last Wednesday, because it was a real moment for me. I'm watching television and I'm going off on two celebrities' lives based off of what I've seen about them.
Big D said, "Why the hell am I gonna let someone be in my life that don't even like me?" He's like, all kinds of my family don't even like me. Why the fuck am I gonna pretend like I want them in my life? He's like, my family been trolling me this whole goddamn time. Yeah, I hear you, bro. I hear you.
On television. And I'm like, Durante, this television has fooled you into thinking you actually know these people, and not only that you know them well enough to have a right to have an opinion on their lives and what they should be doing. And here's the kicker: they never gonna hear any of this. You are literally wasting your time gossiping to yourself. That is not a flex, bro. Like that. That's how I talk to me. You know. I'm like, you've convinced yourself that you know stuff that you don't know. And it's like, and to be honest, it's stuff that you wouldn't even try to know if you had access to know. Like if someone just dropped $100 million on you right now, would you want to go hire a private eye to follow T.I. and Tiny so you can know whether they're compatible for each other? How would that make your life better? All right, that's when I was doing the hard work. Me. It's like, bruh, this might be one of the reasons you broke. You wasting your time on bullshit, homie. Like, out of all of the things you could be doing with your time, you watching this show and being mad about people you don't know. And you the one chosen to watch it. These are not things smart people do, my brother. That's how I talk to myself. You know? Started getting very clear. Am I being distorted right now? And again, whether that's on the pessimistic side or optimistic side, everything is terrible. Are you sure? Everything? It all works out somehow. All the time? I don't know about that. And I don't...
If I could speak as well as Durante, dude, shit, I'd be somewhere, bro. I would be somewhere. If I could speak as well as Durante. But no, God had to make me sound like a fucktard every time I open my mouth, which, you know, is what it is. You just gotta play the hand that you've been fucking dealt.
Needed to. You know? I only needed it to work out all the time when I felt like I was being judged based off of the parameters of whether it worked or not. When I lived in the world, in the paradigm where...
That reminds me of a saying, you do not fall into success. You must fail until success. You fail into success. Failure is only a mistake if you don't learn a lesson from it and correct it and do better. Right.
If it worked, that means God wanted it. That's when it mattered. That's when I needed it to always work. To me, that is no longer a need, nor is it an expectation, because the root of that need is superstition. I have no evidence, no reason to believe that anything should always work. So I have an expectation that sometimes things won't work. I don't need them to always work anymore. I don't feel like that makes me a negative person. You know? The goal here is clear-eyed realism. Hope with accuracy. You know? And then there's the trajectory questions, which is there any evidence that what I'm doing right now can get me where I'm trying to go? So anytime I'm upset with where I am in life, as opposed to where I want to be, and mind you, according to me, now you do you, but me, I am the largest influence on where I am.
Fuck yeah.
And where I want to be.
Yep.
I get to choose where I want to be, and it's my choices largely that have led me to where I am within my spectrum of control and influence. All right? So then it's if I'm
No, absolutely. We are creators of our own world. The world you have right now is the world you have created for yourself. We are all co-creators within the Godhood. And better late than never, right? Fuck. So I'm a non-Abrahamic true monotheist. I'm developing my own theology called Dark Lightism or Dark Light Theology. I'm writing a book on it. It's turning out pretty fucking good. I drink my own Kool-Aid up in this motherfucker, y'all. I drink my own Kool-Aid. And I suggest that you drink your own Kool-Aid too. You know? Now, it don't hurt to garner a little recipe from another motherfucker here and there, you know? It don't hurt. But just, you know, put your own twist on it. Make sure you like that flavor. Make sure that flavor is for you. And the best way to do it is, you know, look around at other motherfuckers' recipes and sit there and make up your own recipe. You know, just use the other motherfucker's recipe as kind of like maybe a starting point template to build off of and to manipulate and to tweak a little bit, tweak, you know?
If I'm in a place in life and I'm like, I don't want to be here, I no longer have the expectation of poof, overnight, something's going to happen and I'm not going to be here anymore. If I'm in a place in life and I'm saying, nope, I'm disappointed with this, I don't like this, tacos, I like that. I don't, you know, I don't like this. I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want my life to be stuck right here. Then for me, there's nobody else that I know of who has a greater impact on doing something about that than me. You know, sure, can people come along and support me?
Yes, your life is your responsibility, man. No one else cares as much about your life as you do. Your life is your responsibility. We have the power to create the worlds that we live in. We do. And it's as simple as choosing to accept or reject any situation that we might find ourselves in. You can either accept it and walk into it, or you can reject it and walk away from it. It's that fucking simple. We are all co-creators within the Godhood. Our consciousness is an extension of the omni-consciousness. We are all sentient singularities within the Godhood. It is the fractal singularity omnimatrix. There are 5 main traits I use to define God, which is unity, consciousness, dark, light, and paradox. Yes, paradox. Paradox is a fundamental trait of all of reality. Just ask the Heisenberg uncertainty principles. You can ask the wave-particle duality.
Absolutely. Sure, can someone come along and open a door that I'm just like, what? That door? You gonna open that one for real? Sure. But by far and large, I can't depend on any of those things. I love internal thoughts. Mine be going, man. No, my intrusive thoughts are the worst.
Yeah, see, that reminds me of a situation I just had. So we just had this big-ass snowstorm a little bit over a week ago, right? And last year, these snow trucks did not come down our road at all. I live down a dirt road off the main road. So last year, I had to dig my ass all the way out. But last year, I waited a couple days. I waited and waited. I was waiting for the snow to melt off. And even though it was 50, 60 degrees last year, the snow wasn't melting off. Now this year, after it snowed, it was going to be cold as fuck for the next 2 weeks solid. So I was like, man, I have to get out there and dig this goddamn snow. Now, it was not fun. Not at all. Not at all, because there was a lot of it. Because there's about a mile to the main road, and it's all hills. You know, if it was all flat, that's a different story. You know, as long as the snow's not too tall, you know, to where it's hitting the bottom of my car. But with all the hills and stuff, everywhere there was a hill, I had to dig out one lane. You know, just one side for one side of the tires. And I did. It took me a little bit over 2 days, but I dug out just in time to make it out of my road and go to a little job, make a little money to get some supplies. And I was out in town for a couple hours, and when I came back, the snow trucks had come down my road, and they plowed all the goddamn snow. Now, if I knew those snow trucks were gonna come, I would have saved those 2 fucking days of shoveling snow. I was kind of pissed. I'm like, God damn it! All I had to do was wait a couple hours, and the snow trucks would have been down anyway. But I couldn't rely on that. It's kind of like what Durante's saying. If someone opens a door for me to help, that's cool, but you can't rely on it. See, now if that snow truck never came down my road, I'd still be fucking stuck. But I had to make sure that I was getting the fuck out because I was running out of supplies. My dogs needed food. I needed water for everyone, me and my dogs. So I made sure to make that shit fucking happen. I made sure to dig that snow so I could get the fuck out. Now it just so happened that the snow trucks came down and helped to crack her out. Just so happened. But I couldn't bet on it. I couldn't bet on the snow trucks coming down and getting the snow off the road. So this is just kind of a little personal story I'm splicing in there with you, Durante.
Like, bruh, until I found out that intrusive thoughts was actually a word, I was worried about myself. It's like, bruh, why is it that every time you drive over a bridge, you're thinking, what'll happen if I just drive right off of this motherfucker right now? And it's not even a depressive thought.
Yeah, no, like, ever since I was a kid, like, I would have these thoughts come in my head that I don't know where they came from, but they would just pop in my head, and they weren't good thoughts usually. Like, I would just picture what would happen if, this car gets in a wreck and I'm the only one that lives and my whole family dies. Then I would get other thoughts. What happens if I just yank on the steering wheel right here and get the family in a wreck? And now Christians would say, that was demons talking to you, boy. That was demons. That's what Christians would say. I don't believe in demons. I don't believe in Satan. I don't believe in sin. I don't believe in hell. I do believe in energetic anomalies. I do believe in a version of the spirit world. But now how I define the spirit world, though, is scientifically verifiable. It's the spirit world is simply all the frequencies that are imperceptible to the human senses, which is scientifically verifiable. That's the spirit world to me. So we are homogeneously saturated in all kinds of frequencies that are beyond our human perception. That's the spirit world to me. See, because I am a theist, I'm a non-Abrahamic true monotheist, but I do not believe in the supernatural. I'm not a supernatural theist. There's no such thing as supernatural. All supernatural is trying to say is, I don't know how to explain that. Just because you don't know how to explain something doesn't mean it's supernatural. It just means there is a naturalistic explanation for that thing which you have not discovered or realized yet, is all that means.
More like an experiment. They just want to see what happened. I don't do it, but the thought is there. It's like being on a ledge, which if you're ever around me, I don't go to ledges. Like girls are, why you don't go to ledges? Because my intrusive thoughts are very compelling. I don't know if y'all have ever heard me talk before, but this dude is even more smooth. Hence Bridge City. Damn, I didn't catch it. But his voice is even more compelling in my head. And so standing on ledges is like, bro, what if you jump and you just flew right now? No, don't. That voice. I was just curious. I just wanted to see what was going to happen.
Just what if?
Just them intrusive thoughts, right?
Nah, dude, I used to build industrial scaffold at a power plant. Here, let me get you off that face right there. I used to build... I paused it in the most inconvenient time right there for you, homie. So, I used to build scaffold at a power plant, dude. Like, being hundreds of feet up in the air, and I got paid good for it, so that smoothed it over a little bit. But I started that job off with the fear of heights, okay? And I left with, I mean, it's still a healthy respect for heights, but the fear was gone. Because after a certain point, we had to have harnesses. You had to be tied off anytime you were above 6 feet or you got fired. If you were ever caught doing some dangerous shit more than 6 feet off the ground, you were fired, dude. If you were caught handling material without gloves or without glasses, you were fired. They're super strict on safety stuff. So I knew all my safety protocols was in place anytime I was doing some dangerous shit. And that's where I came to with it. Like, I'll do some dangerous shit as long as I know that I'm doing everything possible to maintain the highest level of safety in the process of doing that dangerous shit. But I definitely know what you're saying with the intrusive thoughts there, Durante. I definitely feel you there, homie. I think I've tamed them. I've damn sure tamed them over the years. You know?
A whole Sunday session series on intrusive thoughts because they're fun to have. I believe I can fly. You know, and then my intrusive thoughts are not always just about what, like what'll happen if I do this, but it's also like what would I do if this happened? You know, like trying to imagine myself in certain
That's just a highly active imagination is all.
scenarios, which I do have a lot of dreams. I do have recurring dreams lately. Probably the past 2 years I've been having recurring.
If you're asking, Big D, see, check it out now. I got theories, bruh. If you're asking, I think dreams is our consciousness living alternate lives and alternate realities in parallel dimensions, as it were. That's what I think dreams are. And I've thought about it a lot, man. And because when you're in a dream, most of the time, you don't realize that it's a dream. You know, even if there's some crazy shit going on, every now and then you'll be like, hey, this ain't quite adding up. I think it might be in a dream, right? And then that's when you get into your lucid dreaming. And now there's meta levels to that too. The lucid dreaming is like, once you realize you're dreaming in a dream, the hard point is maintaining that realization and then utilizing that to fucking do some things now. Do all kinds of things now.
Dreams about driving off of something, like not on purpose, but like just driving, and then the road disappears. And now in the whole dream, I'm sitting there like, all right, let me get myself together because we're about to hit the water, and then I don't know if I'm going to survive, but I got to try. I'm trying to think it through. Trying not to lose his head. Hey, you already know. I remember one time me and my friend was driving somewhere, and I said, man, what would you do if a pothole just opened up in the road right while we were driving right now? And like, that's intrusive thoughts. Living in, and you don't want
dip, duck, dive, dodge that motherfucker. That's what you do.
See me again, I would understand. I know it, right? Man, don't get me close to the ledge. Up in here. Y'all are too much. But yeah, so it's trajectory. If I'm somewhere that I don't want to be, if I don't like how life is going, and y'all know I went through I was a black nationalist. That's where a lot of this stuff was unpacking it. I ran a lot of projects, did a lot of programs, and I was like, wait a minute, at some point.
So let's have a talk, Durante. How do you feel about the Hebrew Israelites, Durante? Let's talk about it. How do you feel about them? Because I know you got a unique perspective on them. Now them being theists, I know you're gonna have some problems with them just right off the bat, anyway. But let's move beyond the theology part with them, Durante. Let's talk about it, Big D.
And this was my perspective again. I don't feel the need for everybody to share my perspective. You don't share my experience, right? I don't share your experience, but my perspective became like, hold up, what are we doing to get us where we want to go? And that's literally for me as a way of living life and approaching life. If I'm doing anything, it needs to be something that helps me get to where I'm trying to go. Right? And so if I'm not where I want to be, is there any evidence that what I'm doing can actually get me there? Do I have a statistical norm that I can depend on? That I can say, at least 60% of the people who try this get there. If I don't have any of that, what am I basing this in? Am I learning things that actually help me get there? am I learning things? And the hard one, have you actually been trying, or is it the trying like I did my best? Well, we all know that that's like coded language for that's all you gonna get from me. That doesn't actually mean I tried. It means what you saw is all you're going to get, and that's not a flex. And so that's what I started asking myself, like, Durante, are you really trying? And this wasn't about like calling myself lazy or anything like that. It was understanding that I had been operating off of bad logic for so long that I likely wouldn't even know what trying would look like.
Damn.
Because trying to me before meant praying really, really hard. You know? Trying to me before meant fasting for 40 days, which I didn't. You know, I'll try to. Once I left that paradigm, it became painfully obvious why my life was where it was. Because that question right there, have I actually been trying? No, bruh. Like, to explain the way I viewed it is what happened to me is like if you have a kid that looks up, to a family figure or an older person, and the kids see the older person drive, and they say, I want to drive too. You know what I'm saying? And then they say, all right, come on, I'm gonna get you over here, and they put you in your little toy thing, and they say, oh, look at that, you driving just like me. And you really ain't driving, but they just told you that, so you'd feel like you doing the same thing that they doing. That's what I felt trying was for the first 30 years of my life. The first 30 years that I thought that I was trying, I was doing the things that I had been taught to do as a child. Because nobody had ever come along, and I'm not trying to put the blame on them, but nobody had ever come along and said, no, you're going to need real keys, and you're going to need a real car. So once I come out of that paradigm, I have to wrestle with the fact that what I was doing, no matter how much energy I put into it.
Yeah, Durante's been my favorite atheist for about a year now. He took the spot of Alex O'Connor. Alex O'Connor was my favorite atheist for a while. But you know what? Me and Alex just come from different worlds. And I don't just mean that he comes from the land of magic over there in England. I don't just mean that. Like, see, I can relate a lot more to Durante. But it's not just that, though. See, because I like to call it like this. Durante is the most effectively meaningful atheist that I've come across. Although my delirium, good luck getting past that. Good luck getting past my delirium. I'm not saying that. See, what I like about atheists is I enjoy their perspective. I enjoy their constant criticism of almost everything, right? But I mean, not all atheists are created equal. I think we can all agree on that. So, and what I mean by that is there's a lot of atheists out there who are highly critical of anything religious, all the while not realizing that a lot of the politics they get into, they follow it as if it were a religion. See, left and right are both the same wings on the same bird of prey, which feast upon our freedom, the freedom of we the people. And a lot of atheists, see, there's kind of like this paradigm going around, or attempting to go around, attempting to suck people up into it, where if you're theist, you're Republican, if you're atheist, you're Democrat. You know, wouldn't it be nice if it was just that simple? It's not that simple, motherfuckers. You got atheistic Republicans out there. You got theistical Democrats out there. But they try to make it seem as if, okay, if you're a Democrat, then you must be atheist. And if you're a Democrat, you must capitulate to this uh, notion that you can only transcend one social construct, which is gender. And if you don't know this about me, I'm omnitrans. Yeah, motherfuckers, omnitrans. And if you're asking yourself, Dane, what the fuck is that? Okay, if that's you, if you don't know what omnitrans is, then that's a good sign that you're omnitransphobic, you fuck ass honky. Yeah. You're probably omnitransphobic, but that's okay. You didn't know this about yourself, but now you do. And now you can work on it. Okay. So, and you work on it by learning what that is. So, omnitrans is someone who can transcend all social constructs, any and all social constructs, all these artificial mental barriers, such as race, such as nationality, such as numbers, such as monetary systems. Just transcend all that shit. Yeah, motherfucker. See, the elites said, hey, we will give you guys one social construct. You guys are allowed to transcend this one social construct, and that's it. The social construct of gender. Okay? But see, now, I was thinking about that, and I'm like, well, gender is not the only social construct, and if we can transcend gender, then if you can do one, then you can do all. We can transcend all social constructs. But now, see, the elites don't like that. That's too much freedom of thought for them. No, they wanted to introduce just one single solitary social construct that you are possibly allowed to transcend, the construct of gender. But they just wanted to introduce that one, and that is it. That one is all you get. But no, fuck you, elites. the dam has been left open on the transcending social constructs dealio, yo. Yeah, motherfucker. See, they don't like that. They don't like that when you realize that you don't have to capitulate and submit to all of their social constructs that they try to force upon us. You don't have to submit to a single one of them if you don't want to. You can transcend every single one of them if you want to. What up?
It wasn't trying. And so that's that question. Have I actually been trying? Do my actions have a believable cause and effect relationship to my outcome? In most cases, even people who grew up in secular homes, I realize they have a problem with this. That there is no cause and effect accountability to their outcomes. So anything that's wrong with their life is the problem of somebody so far removed from them that you can't even do anything about it.
Yep, and that's the whole point of religion, is to manipulate you into relinquishing your divine sovereignty, to lend it to systems and establishments, which then often use the gift of your divine sovereignty that you have lended them, to use the power of that to then craft chains out of it to offer back. And then they want to call those chains freedom. And all it takes is people realizing, no, I don't like the way you have mistreated the gift of my social sovereignty, my divine sovereignty, which I have lended to you. Even though it was usually a manipulation, it was not a fair exchange. But all you have to do is realize that, and then you reclaim your divine sovereignty. Simply by saying, I am divine sovereignty. That's all you have to do to take it back from the systems and establishments which you have lended it to, which you have been manipulated and coerced and co-opted into lending it to. They have abused this gift. They have shown us what they think of this gift which we have given them, lended to them. And that which is lended can be taken back. And to take it back, all you have to do is say, I am divine sovereignty. I am the brightest night. I am the darkest light. And I am ascending, as are we all. The dark light is upon you. Stay beautiful, motherfuckers.